We are in Singapore for the C Focus 2025. I'm going to make the episode number 2 of the next 10 years. Let's start with 2 really key events that really shaped how I view art today. The first one is when I was in primary school. We have this subject, history subject, was really boring, really unbearable. But what made me look forward to that class is the teacher would ask us to design a topic or a page, right? It's like a key title of a page before we start the subject. And I look really forward to designing that page because we could do it so differently for every topic in the subject. And the one that I remember most was Super Mario just came out. And every time the Super Mario interface would come out, they would have this design. And I was really intrigued by that. I would take that design, modify, amplify, and translate that into my key title event. And moving to secondary school, I was enrolled in the 2nd KL. 2nd KL is a scout group, and there was this really talented, my scout leader, Edward Mark. He would be tasked to design every single newsletter. I think it's quarterly, and I remember vividly, he would have this green technical pen. It's like a rite of passage that if you hold that pen, right, I always thought that, wow, this is so magical. Is it the pen that gave Edward the ability to design? Little did I know, the pen itself, the fabled green technical pen, is only a tool. I had those pens. I know we saved a lot of money to buy those pens. And using it only served as what you want to do. It's not so much of the material itself, but is this the skill of using that material? So it took me a while to actually learn the pen, and down the line I was able to help him design some of the newsletter. These 2 key moments are some of the proudest, I think, in my design journey, about how design actually played a huge role in how that I want to embark for the next 10 years. I think it's really interesting now that I'm going to go to college. I was enrolled in the science stream, year 3, Form 3 to Form 5. And after my results come out, we have to decide what to go next. Are you going to join the Form 6? Or are you going to go to a college? Are you going to go to university? So there's all this question mark that hovers in my mind. What is it actually that you want to do? Now things get a bit more serious. I think my parents, they are okay in whatever you pick as long as you choose it and you abide by your decision and your responsibilities towards that decision. So it's always weighing, do I want to do science? Do I want to react? There's this huge division. And it's always that stereotyping of science is better and arts is for people that couldn't do science. So way earlier I've been inculcated to that. If you would do art, it's not because you couldn't do science. It's just that you choose to do it and you can even do it better. Science to me is always set. 1 + 1 = 2. But in the art side, it's so subjective. It's just very difficult. It's just very difficult to quantify it, and I find it much challenging. So I've decided to enroll in an art college. I think this is the part, right? Skateboarding has been a huge. I don't know how I could forget this, but now that you recap, right, really dig deep into the recess of my mind. How did graphic design? How did design come? I think when I was age 12, skateboarding is such a subculture back then. These are the things that attract me. I remember Thrasher magazine. I remember Skateboarding World magazine. I think those are the really early influence that I never made those connections. But now that you mention it, skateboarding is a big part. It's because physically, I'm quite an active person. It kept me in my toes. And also the design on the decks, the t-shirt, Powell Peralta, Santa Cruz, right? These are really nice design that have stayed through me. I couldn't understand what is it about, but this is definitely something aesthetically pleasing that I look at and I definitely look into it. I think the culture is quite subversive. It was deride, it was going against your parents' wishes. I think I find that quite antagonistic, trying to go against or stick it to the man. And I always enjoyed that part. So now that I look back, really, why do you do something that's so different from the rest? Taking risks with your own life, breaking bones. I really enjoyed that part of it. And I'm glad I'm doing this, that I could remember what actually happened so many years ago. And it's good. And I think some of those things still stuck with me even till today. So there's these 3 key moments I think happened from 10 to my 20 years. First is, I think, primary school, history lessons, Super Mario, title. Second is secondary school, Faber-Castell, Boy Scout. And third is the transition from secondary school to tertiary. Now that I'm actively trying to search back this memory, right, it's not easy to relate because a lot of things happen. You also forget a lot of things that have happened. So I think this episode really gave me a great deal to recapture some things that I've totally forgotten and something that really stuck through. So for the next episode, episode number 3, it'll be me going to the United States and actually getting my first degree in art.